It's Friday night, and the feeling's right. Gonna have some fun. Show you. McAgee3 Meetup. Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. It's definitely Friday. To each and every one of you, welcome to another edition, our June 2020. A-E-I-O-U. Hold on, let me check here. A-E-I-O-U. A-E-I-O-U. Ah, there we go. Okay. Okay. So I'll just mute this. Okay. I told you. We're not beaten. We're not beaten. We're just.
No, keep fighting.
Yep, we keep fighting. All right. Just gotta maneuver some things a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right. Would not be a streamer if there weren't things to tackle in terms of technical difficulties. All right. So let's try this again. Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday to each and every one of you. Welcome to another edition. Welcome to our June 2026 edition of McAgee3 Meetup. It's your man McAgee3 here. How you doing this fine Friday evening? Hope you've been well. Hope you've been great. Hope you've been doing something constructive. If you're unemployed, had the day off, or just dealing with the world right now, hope you have the opportunity to relax and decompress. So we have a returning guest tonight. He is the mastermind behind the Ninja Empire IP. I would say comic series, but that would just be doing it a disservice. It is a lot more than just a comic book. But for right now, it's a comic book. And I have the creator of the Ninja Empire. I have Follow the Kaiser. Follow the Kaiser. How are you doing this fine Friday evening?
I am doing really well. Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be back. And thank you for that intro. And, you know, you make it sound really, really amazing.
Well, the thing is, it is really amazing because generally, like when it comes to people who have like ideas and projects that they feel strongly about, or at least they believe they feel strongly about, it's actually people will put in the work and put in the effort, but it's like the moment that there is any type of like stumbling block or whatever the case, usually they just get um, they get flustered, and then they kind of lose their passion. And
Right.
I know a lot of that revolves around like, and I'm speaking from like some of my some of the people I went to school with, where it's like a lot of them they just don't do art anymore, and to me that's like very depressing, right? Um, but like you are a prime example of you keep at it, you keep that fire burning. Like if the fire starts to dim, you grab a freaking striking stone and you flame it back up, and you throw some wood and like all this other stuff on it. And like you have been consistent with working on the Ninja Empire for as long as I have known you. Like even when I started going to, the Art Institute where I met you. So just real quick for a refresher for those who may not know, um, please introduce yourself and please introduce the Ninja Empire.
Okay. So hello everyone. I am Brian Kaiser Tillman. I am Follow the Kaiser on pretty much every social media that you can find. Um, I am currently a college professor at the Montgomery College teaching illustration and animation. And uh, I have done a lot of work with a lot of people. And I created a trading card game at one point. It got picked up by Upper Deck and then was distributed around the world, which was really cool. And once I did that, I needed a new project. And finally, after a good 20 years of working in the industry and putting ninjas everywhere I could find them, I thought it was high time to actually do a project that focused around ninjas. And that's when I created the Ninja Empire. And the Ninja Empire is my love letter to the 1980s ninja craze that happened in the United States.
Mm.
Um, that's when I was coming up, and my dad introduced ninjas to me. My very first movie that I could say was a movie and it wasn't a cartoon,
Mm.
was Ninja 3: The Domination
Mm.
with Shokasuke.
Mm.
And I can tell you that that movie shaped me, as horrible as it is,
Mm.
shaped me to be, the artist and the ninja enthusiast that I am. And so I have that kind of comic going right now, and it's a revenge story, as most ninja stories are,
Mm.
uh, but it is set in a science fiction fantasy world. So think He-Man.
Mm.
Uh, so sword and sorcery, and yet technology, all the same. And the world is currently in civil war because the shogun got assassinated. During that time, everyone kind of goes for a power grab. There are five ninja families that are directly under the shogun, and everyone thought that they were going to uphold the peace until the new shogun could get appointed. But you know how it is. You start thinking that you're running stuff and you should get recognition for it. So they are like, nah, we're going to take over. We're actually going to run this place. In the process, they screw over our main character, the Black Dragon. He's an outsider.
Mm.
In my comic, an outsider is someone who does not have ninja descent, and
Mm.
he is one of five outsiders that was granted the title of ninja, and he's the only outsider to ever be granted the title of ninja master.
Mm.
And that really didn't sit very well with a lot of the purists that inhabit the ninja empire.
Mm.
And so once the shogun was assassinated, the main character, the main bad guy of the story, Kasugi Hoshin, he was like, you know what? It's time to erase this mistake from history. And so he takes his army to his village and kills everything: men,
Mm.
women, children, cats, dogs,
For
birds, grass, rocks, dirt. Everything is on fire.
Jesus.
Everything. And he saves his wife and child for last, kills them in front of him, cuts off his arm so that he can bleed out staring into the dead eyes of his wife and child.
Mm.
And, obviously he's not dead. That's why he's our main character. We find out why he's not dead later. And that thing that has kept him alive actually granted him an ability to see anyone who had anything to do with the attack on his village and family and friends, right? So he could go to a convention and be like, you, because you're marked, right? And it doesn't
Mm.
matter what you did. You could have just been the flag bearer, but
Mm.
since you didn't do anything to stop it, you got to die.
Mm.
And so he uh he is on a revenge tour, is pretty much what it is. And if he knows you, if he doesn't know you, it's quick, right? He'll just like stab you in the neck and you'll die, and that will be short and sweet.
Mm.
But if he knows you, it becomes very torturous.
Right.
And so, if you like stories like John Wick and Old Boy mixed with the violence of Invincible and ninjas, this is going to be the story for you.
And you had, and that's actually really awesome. You actually uh it's a really cool story. On his Twitch channel, he also works on the story as well as his other projects. Um, but it's like, so few reasons of bringing you back here, besides the fact that you're just an awesome person and you're still doing the grind, as it were. You were at a award show of some description not too long ago,
Correct.
and the Ninja Empire was actually nominated for, was it 6 awards? Was 6 the number I remember? Or was it another number?
2, 3.
My man's got a.
6 awards. Yeah, 6 awards.
Yeah. So how? Share with us a little bit about that.
So, so it's always crazy to me when something I did is catching awards,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the trading card game got an award. It like actually won the award, and then being nominated for the Glyph Awards.
Mm-hmm.
It's a it is a comic book award that is administered through ECBAC, which is the East Coast was it East Coast Black something comic collective,
Uh huh.
right? And they have an award that is recognized by the comic industry,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I got nominated for best artist,
Mm-hmm.
best story, best male lead,
Mm-hmm.
uh, best cover.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one? There was another one, and then the fan award.
Oh, you got the fan. Oh, wow.
And so I mean, I just got nominated for those, and it was an honor to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Just to literally be in the midst. This year, I didn't win anything this year.
Uh huh.
Um, I'm hoping to, kind of correct that for next year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of course.
um, but just to be nominated, because that was issue one. So
Wow.
it was pretty much the very first issue that most people saw. While I
Mm-hmm.
did do an issue zero,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of people don't recognize, they don't recognize anything until you start with the number one.
Right.
And so issue one was pretty much the first introduction that anyone had. And then it still was blessed enough to get and lucky enough to get those nominations,
Mm-hmm.
which, was just absolutely fantastic. And the people who won deservingly, right? You're
Uh
just
huh.
like, wow, okay, yeah, I understand why you won.
Mm-hmm.
But I was, like I said, for someone who, like myself, who did everything in comics except do the comics.
Uh huh.
I was an editor, I was a letterer, I was a writer, I was the inker, but I never drew anything. I was
You're.
always the person that's kind of finishing stuff off. So for me to finally do a book on my own, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to draw it. And I do everything for this book. Like it is a purely creator owned project where I do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the fact that it just got nominated from like day one, from issue one,
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely amazing to me, right? It's such a big blessing, and I'm like, man, that's huge. And
Mm-hmm.
for anyone who is trying to get into comics and whatnot, let me tell you, I was wrong in this situation where I didn't tell people about the award that I actually got for my game.
Uh huh.
But when I told people that I got nominated,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Why are you not advertising this?" And I was like, "I mean, I didn't really do much, you know. It was like I just kind of got nominated." I'm like, "Yeah, how many books are actually getting nominated?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a good point." So it's like, "Oh, you know what? You're right. I probably should be like, no, I did something, pretty phenomenal here and got selected in this process." So I'm very excited to be able to say that it was nominated, like anytime I do, like when the next Kickstarter comes out, because this one was already running when the award show kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't know whether I was going to win or anything like that, so I wanted to wait. But so next for issue three,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't think that I'm going to put on there, Ninja Empire, Glyph Award nominee for 2026, you're crazy, right? I'm
Right.
definitely going to be
Right.
doing that. So yeah, but it was great. I mean, it was a nice little experience. There was some great talent there,
mm-hmm.
and like I said, I was blessed enough to be one of them.
Yeah, that's actually pretty awesome. Like, okay. So last month we had a guest on the channel who also went to an award show, and uh they actually ended up winning. Um,
Nice.
and one of the takeaways I got from when they were talking about it was that they had no idea that they were going to win, right? So
Hmm.
so tell me, like, so how were you approached with that situation? Like, did they say that your stuff was nominated for something? Did they just invite
Yeah.
you to the show? Like, how did that come about?
So I mean, it's very, very weird and humbling. Uh, you get it. I got an email,
Uh huh.
and it was just like, "Hey, congratulations! You've been nominated for an award." It starts off with you've been nominated for an award, and you're like, all right, cool. They didn't tell me what it was right away,
Mm-hmm.
but then once they give out the announcements to everyone else, like once they give the nominations, they're like, hey, you made it, you're part of the nominee group.
Uh huh.
Then online they post who's on the list for what.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went to their website, and it was like, oh, I'm part of this. Just look for your name.
Uh
It's
huh.
like, oh, look, I was part of this and part of that. It's like, holy crap, I'm part of all that.
Hmm.
So it wasn't, I mean, it really wasn't anything like, I didn't get a phone call or anything. It wasn't like, oh, hey, we have good news. It was just, congratulations, you are part of, this year's nomination group. It's like,
Uh huh.
oh, sweet.
So and so it was just so you were just part of that, and then you went to the show, and
Yep.
it was like so so tell me about the just let's go over each of the things you were nominated for, and and tell me based off of your own understanding, like what was the criteria and what allowed your comic specifically to qualify for that criteria, even though it didn't pull in the end, but it was still nominated. So yeah, let's go over each one, and like go with your own by your own volition, like what part of your comic fits for that particular award.
All right. So I got nominated for best cover,
Okay.
which I thought was, I never think my covers are any good,
Mm-hmm.
but but because most of the reason why I think that, I know it might sound like I'm just a big downer on my own work, but one of the big things that I've realized is that everyone else's work is very like graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Not graphic, is very like dynamic, and it all has a certain look. Like a lot of comics are looking the exact same way,
Right.
and especially now, it's like, oh, I am manga influenced, and that's pretty much what a lot of people are going for and looking for and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes it's just really hard to break into something that would be like, oh, I have, like I have something different. Here I am presenting it differently than everyone else. And when I do it, and I'm just like, well, my work is very graphic oriented, right?
Uh-huh.
And so it's really hard for me to look at what I'm doing going, this is completely different than what everyone else is doing. They're
Mm-hmm.
not going to see this as, a good cover.
Right.
But I think, oh no, excuse me, that's my car. I think one of my strong suits at this point is that it's very graphic and very clean,
Uh-huh.
you know, and so now uh, what normally made me not interesting to a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
is what's making me interesting, because now I'm not doing the same thing as everyone else,
Right,
and
right,
I think
right.
that's mainly why I was able to get nominated for best cover,
Mm-hmm.
because it was different and it pulls more on the idea of doing something more striking
Mm-hmm.
in a graphic sense than be like, oh, let me show this person doing, chopping someone's head off or
Right,
something.
right, right.
Like when they really do all the actiony stuff to try and catch you and be like, oh, isn't this interesting? You love this because of all the action.
Uh huh.
I'm like, look at this person standing in the distance behind a gate, right behind one of the prayer gates
Uh
with
huh.
all this blood, and the blood in between the rocks looks like a skull,
Oh
right? So it's
wow.
like, here's my imagery that you have to look at the piece and look through it and stuff like that. And I honestly do believe that that's the reason why this particular cover
Mhm.
was nominated for best cover.
Okay.
Um, as far as best, because there was best male lead, like best character.
Uh huh.
I honestly, the Black Dragon is just a lot of fun,
Uh huh.
and he's a no nonsense kind of guy, except for when he's with this one particular person, and so you actually get to see a whole range of emotions that happen in these 24 pages that you don't normally, you don't really get a lot of unless you have a full series to pull back on.
Right.
And so it's like, no, 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 look, he's worried. He's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening.
Mhm.
Oh, now he's taking crap from this person, his friend, and she's just giving him all kinds of crap, and he's just like, oh, and he's like taking it, so he's human.
Uh
And
huh.
then the threat happens, and he instantly switches over to like killer mode,
Right.
right? And protector. And it's like, oh wow, I get a whole range of emotion in this one issue. And I
Mhm.
think that's mainly why they like that character,
Mhm.
because like I said, you got to really feel like there was a whole character to deal with.
Uh
And
huh.
I really do believe that's why they they like that character.
Uh huh.
Um as far as, let's see, best write, best story, I don't know.
you,
A lot
you
of
honestly
people,
don't know why best story?
nah, I have no idea. I have a lot of people, or I've had a lot of people who have read like issue zero and they've read issue one and they come back to like, man, they bought it at a show and they're like, man, I really liked your story. It was good. I'm looking forward to the next issue.
Uh
And
huh.
I'm like, cool. I guess, like, I don't know. I write the story very selfishly, right?
Mhm.
I'm writing the story the way that I like the story,
Mhm.
and that's it, right?
Mhm.
I'm not writing it for the audience,
Mhm.
if that makes sense, right?
Okay.
Like most people will write towards the audience,
Mhm.
and I'm like, if I decide to kill off a character
Mhm.
and everyone goes bananas and sends me like hate mail and all kinds of good stuff as the series
Mhm.
continues, I won't. I'm not gonna sweat it. I'm like, you know what? It's my story. I wrote this for me to like,
Sounds like you
and I'm
learned.
glad.
You sounds like you learned from the creator of The Walking Dead in that regard, because that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And the reason why I think people should do that more often is the fact that if you like your story, right?
Uh huh.
If you're going to come in and be like, oh, I wrote this story and I like it, you will continue to write a fun story.
Mhm.
Whereas if you have to write a story and then go, okay, I can't do this to this character because my audience will get mad, right?
Oh yeah.
Versus, nope, it's time for this person to get, hit with a brick or something.
Mhm.
Um, and that's why it is 100% shocking to me when someone goes, yeah, man, I really like this story. I'm like, really? And I'd never follow it up either. Like, I don't go, really, what did you like about the story? Because I just think that that's weird, right? It seems like you'd be fishing for compliments.
Uh huh.
You already told me you liked it. I'm gonna stick with, all right, sweet, man, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Versus, really, tell me what you liked about it. I'm like, I'm not. I don't want to fish for compliments.
Right.
So you telling me you like it was the compliment I needed to do the next issue,
Mhm.
and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the next issue. So the fact that they liked it is just as bizarre to me as when um, I have someone who I convinced to pick up the issue, right? Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, this is what's gonna happen. This is what I'm doing. This is how this is gonna be awesome. And I convince someone to pick it up,
Mm-hmm.
and they do. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'm probably never gonna see these people again, or it's gonna be I will see them sometime next year, and they may or may not say something to me.
Right.
But when they come back the very next day
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Oh my goodness, I read your comics," and they're like, "Oh, okay," and they're like, "I really like the story. Like it's really cool." I was like, "Really? Okay, thanks." You know, I'm just like, okay. So I will come back to. I have no idea why I got nominated for that. I'm grateful for it, but no clue. um, Best artist is almost in the same vein. I'm flattered, but I'm like there. I know that there are other people, and I looked at the people that I was in line with, and I was like, all right, well, I mean, I don't think that I'm out of my league here,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just like, I don't really think that I wouldn't have nominated me. Uh, and
You're
then once the person who they gave it to won, I was like, yeah, that is 100% accurate. They should have
mm-hmm.
won.
Mm-hmm.
And so any time, because I've had that a couple times, where I've gotten something based on my art, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh yeah, you've been nominated for, like I said, like best artist or something like that, or best artwork in a comic, and I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I'm sure. It'll always just be, yeah, sure. I'm glad you think that. Because it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, and nothing feels better than people telling you that your work's good.
Right.
But I don't. I don't think that is what is going to be defining like me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like when they said, "Oh, best character," I was like, "Sweet, I'm a character designer. Great, I want that." Right? I want the story to be liked as well. So I'm like, I'm glad that they picked it. I don't know why, but I am glad, right? Because that
Mm-hmm.
that makes me very happy that people are, um, they're feeling the story that I'm coming up with. So I like that. But you going, oh yeah, man, your art was at the top. I'm like, nah, if you say so. I'm like, there are so many better people out there. So if you say so, I will believe you for this particular moment.
mm-hmm.
But that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. We're like, so, um, so yeah.
You're you're
So
you're almost like it's almost like you're the poster child for you're your own worst critic. It almost sounds like.
no, I tell all my students, I was like, look, you are going to be your worst critic. There's
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing I can say that will be worse than what you're going to say to yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm the same way. That's why I can make that statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I am a problem. I do that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you got to kind of get over. That's why, when they said it, I didn't go, no, 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 no. Take my name off the ballot or anything like that. I was like, no, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, cool. I appreciate that. Thank you. But that one was definitely not one that I was holding my breath on.
Mm-hmm.
The cover one, I was hoping to win the cover one, but
Yeah,
not this time.
cause your covers are really good. And then of course, I'm certain they're referring to the covers that you made and not the
Yes.
covers that you had uh your community put together as alternates.
No. Yeah. No. It was only the main. They only looked at the main cover.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. That makes sense. But yeah, I don't know if we covered all of the nominations at all, but
Oh, and then there was the fan award, which the fan one. I would have been way happy to win that one, right?
mhm,
Because that's kind of like, no, they have spoken. The
right.
fans want this, and I would have been like, yeah, hell yeah,
The fans want
that's
the
what's up.
Ninja Empire.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that it was nominated, there's definitely some, but there's some amount of fans that want it.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, the thing is, like going to conventions,
mm-hmm,
I'm not even gonna lie to you, going to the conventions and whatnot, I quickly find that I don't just have people who bought stuff,
mm-hmm,
I have fans of
nice.
Ninja Empire, which I am so absolutely grateful for.
Mm-hmm,
Because, like I said, there is nothing better than a fan, right? Who really like, man, no, no, this is great. Or when they tell you about a panel that they really liked,
right.
or a sequence, or like, oh, I had a person tell me that their favorite character was one of the lesser of the main family.
Uh
And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, man, I like the way he carries himself. He's also a drunk. I think
huh.
that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, okay. So having that, and they're like, we need more. I need you to draw him more. And I'm like, okay, I hear you, right? And that feeling is absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that sounds amazing too, because it's like you're getting input from your fandom, which in turn can help the brand grow. You
Yep,
know,
absolutely.
whether it's input that actually can be utilized with the IP, or if it's input where it's like can't not necessarily be used, but it is something to like think about or to
Right.
consider,
Oh yeah.
right? Because a lot of times, uh, sometimes your best ideas, they actually come from the viewership because they
Yep.
might think
No,
about
absolutely.
something that you probably didn't think of. But it's also really
I'm,
awesome that you know, like you said, you got fans and
yeah.
they love what you do. But
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
it's kind of, it's kind of surreal when, because for the most part, this is what you're doing. You're just like, I'm trying really, really hard to get fans and do these things and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so once you start realizing, you're like, oh wait, I actually, I, I have them.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sweet feeling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
But speaking of going back to your community, specifically going back to um, the fellow artists that you gathered together to make the alternate covers
yeah.
for Ninja Empire, like so were these folks handpicked or did they volunteer their services or how did that go about?
I asked them up front. Well, it depends on which one you're asking about. So issue 0, I asked everyone to be part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and they agreed, which
Mm-hmm.
was also fun because when you get higher caliber people, and then they're just like, yeah, sure, I'll do that, not a problem. You're like, wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay. Um, and then it became a lot easier to ask or have people go, hey man, if you are still in need of a cover, let me know, and I'll gladly do it. So like the upcoming covers,
Mm-hmm.
I actually have more and more people who approached me
Mm-hmm.
and were like, look, if I would love to do a cover for you. If you need a cover, let me know. And it's like, oh, absolutely fantastic. So, but up front, the initial group was definitely handpicked by me to try and get some interest. I mean, that's why I have Freddie Williams the
Mm-hmm.
second as one of the artists who did something, and I'm like, yeah, he's gonna catch, his cover's gonna catch some eyes, and it
Mm-hmm.
did, right? And it brought a lot of people in just because of that. It was like, oh, I know who that is. I want to know what this is about, or I just want that cover. And then they're like, well, I might as well read it,
Right, right,
you know.
right. Cover looks
And then they're
cool.
like,
What's the
oh
story
wow, this is
about?
actually pretty fun. So, but then, like issue 1, I wanted to make sure that I had a almost more diverse group. That's why Skipper Wing was part of it.
Uh-huh.
right? He has a very distinct comic cartoon style.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I really, really want to make sure that I can get something that's not just all super Western ideal comics. Um, and so getting him on board was almost imperative to me
Right.
to have him part of it. Um, and then, just ask once again, just kind of asked around to see if anyone would want to be part of it. And being surprised at people going, yeah, sure. Like I have for issue 3,
Mm-hmm.
well, they're currently working on it. If they meet the deadline, right, they're scheduled to be for
Gotcha.
for issue 3. Is Mark Morales.
Oh.
And so, having a big name once again attached to another issue is going to be, it's going to be huge again,
Right.
to
Right.
just be
Right.
like, oh, yeah, this person who is either A, currently super, um, super popular, or there's this person who's super popular and is a legend in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna do gangbusters for the actual product.
Yeah, because essentially it's like your because it's situations like that. It's mutually beneficial because your community gets to meet them, and in that same vein, their community gets to meet you. And
Right.
then usually what normally would happen is that your fandoms start to congeal into one another, thus growing your community.
Right.
Hmm. So, so
Absolutely.
that's pretty awesome. Um, so so on your channel,
Yes.
you know, we'll get back to the award nominated Ninja Empire while still talking about the award nominated Ninja Empire, because on your channel, you have a special stream on Wednesdays called Watercolor Wednesdays. Now,
Yes.
if I remember correctly, I don't think you were doing this 5 years ago. I believe this was done within
No.
the last few years or so.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just on year 2.
hmm so I would like to ask you, what motivated you to not only try your hand at watercolors, but to also just have a whole stream that revolves around it? How did that come
Uh,
about?
Actually, it was my son. So, Tyler is, he likes to do art on his own, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
not trying to be like, oh, I want to be a professional artist. It's something that he does just for fun.
Uh-huh.
And for years, I have been complaining about how I wanted to learn watercolor. I was like, man, I really want to do watercolor. I want to do watercolor. It'd be so good to learn watercolor.
Uh-huh.
And I never gave myself that opportunity to do it,
Uh-huh.
right? I was just always complaining about it, like, oh. And he does watercolor,
Oh, okay.
and it's amazing, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, that's not fair. You just literally turned around and started doing it. Like, that's insulting. I don't like you. And and then he was like, okay, fine. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna, because he would always sit in my office while I was doing the streams.
Right.
And so he goes, look, on Wednesday, at that point that's when I didn't have class. So I was always home at the time. And
Uh-huh.
he was like, okay, so on Wednesday, uh, we are gonna do watercolor Wednesday. You have no choice. You will learn watercolor. And and I was like, all right, we'll do this once. And for like the next couple of weeks, he was there religiously every Wednesday going, nope, it's watercolor Wednesday. Nope, it's watercolor Wednesday. And I was like, well, I want to do whatever Wednesday. And he's like, nope, it's watercolor Wednesday. And that stuck around until it stuck, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
was just like, oh no, we got to do this. and that only came about because there was a style that I went and was like, I like this now. Like this is actually pretty good, you know? And so I was like, yeah, now it's just Watercolor Wednesday. And everyone is like, oh, is today Watercolor Wednesday? Are we doing Watercolor Wednesday? It's like, yep, still doing it. And I do believe, I don't know which one yet, but I want to do, I think I want to do a special issue where the whole thing is watercolor.
Uh-huh.
And I also want to be able to do uh, just watercolor covers.
Ooh.
So I'm thinking I gotta, right now it hasn't presented itself
Uh-huh.
to be like, oh, you know what, this would be the right one to do that with. So that hasn't happened yet. But
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure that eventually there will be an issue where I'm like, yep, no, this one. This is where this will make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, so that's the plan
Oh, okay.
eventually.
Eventually. But yeah, that's actually really cool. And like you've been and it's and one of the interesting things that I can say when it comes to um your art streams and by extension a lot of art streams is when people are as consistent as you are in terms of like working on it and trying to perfect it and everything. It's always wonderful to see the progress as time rolls on.
Right,
To because like you could go back and see something that you did like last year and then come back to today and look at something you did like a week ago
right.
and you
Hold on,
can
just a
see.
sec. Just a sec. My kids. Just a second. I'll
Okay.
be right back. Sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. Parents have to parent. So yes. But I mean what I meant what I said. Being able to see the progress of someone's work over time is a very it's a very wonderful thing to bear witness to. Uh, because again, you look at their humble beginnings and how maybe they struggled in certain areas or there was just whatever it was they were working on. It was
Exactly.
just like it might have been okay, but for the most part, it was just kind of rough. And then you fast forward to where they're at now, and all of a sudden, it's like I'm not saying that they're like the next Picasso or Akira Toriyama or whatever the case, but you can definitely see that they've made vast strides in what it is that they were working on.
Like, sorry, I am back. I'm
Welcome back.
sorry I had to run off like
No,
that.
no,
I
no, it's
had to
fine.
see what was happening there.
I mean, real talk, like that's perfectly fine because the whole reason that Watercolor Wednesday is even a thing is because of your family.
Yep.
So
100.
yeah, so if there was ever a reason to step away and do what you got to do, that's definitely a reason. I'm not gonna fault you for that.
I mean, and for me, one of the really big things when it comes to family, like if you're watching my like YouTube channel or my shorts or whatnot, the actual live Twitch streams and everything, my kids are always there,
Yeah,
right?
I've noticed that too.
They're always part of it. It's not normally a time where I'm like, hey, this is just for me. You guys can't be here. It's like no, I happen to be a dad as
Right.
well as a professional artist, and I mean, and I know that some people they don't want to see that, and that's fine,
Mhm.
right? But I'm not about to shoo my kids away.
Right. And tell me a little bit about the the juggling, the balance of being an artist while also being a parent. Like how is that how has that been treating you? Like how what is the have you found the like the middle ground of being able to do that effectively? What's your take? What's your take?
Um, the thing is, I honestly don't believe that you will ever really find the super balance.
Uh huh.
Um, because especially if you have more than just yourself to deal with,
Right.
because their interests are going to change, your interests are going to change, their time requirements are going to change. All that stuff kind of happens, right?
Uh huh.
And so the one thing that I found that creates enough balance to where I'm like, you know what, this is working for me is I everyone needs to know what their priorities are.
Uh huh.
Um, for some people, it is the growth of the channel, right? It
Uh huh.
is the comic book that they're working on. And that's what it is, right? Because they're like, I'm doing this because I'm trying to give you a better life, or so that we can go to that bounce house party, or whatever.
Right.
Um, but for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm I want I prioritize my family.
Mm-hmm.
And so even when I was working for like Marvel and DC and stuff like that, when my kids were younger, when uh when they were like, "Hey, can we go to the park?"
Uh huh.
I looked at what I had to do and I was like, "Ooh, okay, how much can I get away with?" Right? Can I dedicate an hour or two? And I would go with them. I'm like, "Yeah, sure, let's go to the park." You know.
Uh huh.
So once you've established what your priority is for family work balance,
Mm-hmm.
you make that work, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
like, my kids are the most important, my
Right.
family is the most important.
Right.
So when work is encroaching on that, and they go, hey, we're gonna have dinner, or hey, we want you to come and watch this movie with us,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go do that.
Right. Yeah.
So so yeah, I know a lot of people struggle with that,
Mm-hmm.
you know um, and it's not something that anyone who has a family, has work, or trying to do something on their own can be like, oh yeah, it's easy. You just
Right.
do that. It's not right. It's
Right.
not easy,
I,
but
go ahead.
you can find balance.
Mm-hmm. I'd almost argue that if for whatever reason somebody asks you that question and your answer is that it is easy and simple, I'd almost want to wager that there's probably something you're grossly overlooking if it's easy.
That's true. Well, I mean, it's like you're neglecting something.
Right.
And if you're saying that the balance is easy, you're probably neglecting your, I'm going to say it, you're probably neglecting your family.
Right.
So, or I think there is another reason, there is another way.
Okay, I'm listening.
If you have a ton of money,
Ah.
like you're like, I'm a comic book artist, but I'm, a hedge fund kid and I've got $5 million in the bank, then it's also easy to find balance, because then you're gonna be like, hey, I can't go to the park with you today,
Mhm.
but how about all of next week? We go to Japan. You know what I mean? And then it's like your kid will be like, okay.
Shoot, I would even say like even with that, you're probably still overlooking something, even if money is involved.
Probably,
Yeah,
probably.
but but yeah, it's important to have your priorities straight. And again, like we mentioned earlier, it's just really awesome that on top of maintaining your priorities, but also your family is inspiring you to you know try different avenues and see where they
Yeah,
lead.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah, I would not. I still would be complaining about wanting to learn how to do something with watercolor if it wasn't for Tyler. If it
right,
wasn't for him, I would not. I know that. for a fact.
Yeah, shout outs to Tyler. He's a real one.
Yep. It's like, and I tell him that too. I tell him all the time. It's like, you do know that if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be going to talk to David Mack. I wouldn't be
Wow.
talking to Brian Temple Smith, just to be like, hey, can you tell me something about watercolor? I wouldn't be doing that because it's like there's no need. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
But because of that, I have spoken to both of them and got tips on my watercolor.
Yeah, and now you said you've been doing it for 2 years now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then you said that you were going to try to utilize it towards one of your issues. Now my question in regards to that, and obviously this is more of just a hypothetical question because you're still trying to, work out the kinks and everything. Uh, would it be an actual episode of the story, or would it be like an art special or something?
Oh no, it would definitely be part of the story,
Oh, okay.
but it would warrant the watercolor,
Right.
right? So in issue 2, I do a flashback, right? I'm talking about the assassination of the Shogun,
Uh huh.
right? And because it's a flashback, in issue 0, what I did was everything was flat colors
Mhm.
because that was in the past. Issue 0, obviously prequel in the past. I wanted it to look like it was on an old scroll,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Then I did issue 1, and I did the shadows and the highlights, and everything was a little bit more saturated and stuff like that.
Uh huh.
And you can tell, but for me, I was like, it still looks too similar,
Right.
right? And so I was like, okay, what can I do? And so for issue 2, when we went to the flashback, all of the flashback pages
Uh huh.
are just pencils.
Oh.
So it's just pencils on the toned paper texture that I put for everything,
Mhm.
right? And so I did that so because it warranted something different,
Right.
right? And so when I do the watercolor issue, there's going to be a reason for it, right? Like something is going to happen. Someone is going to have some type of magical ability or something that forces, a dreamlike state or something that
Or
would go, oh, this is why it's in watercolor.
some sort of like magical evolution, almost
Right,
like
right.
like what the Sailor Scouts, they learn a new ability or something like that sort of thing.
Exactly. No, absolutely, absolutely. And I want that to be because I want it to be special. It's like
Right.
I don't know the issue yet. I don't know where it's going to be,
Mhm.
but I know that it will happen because that's something that I want to have in my in my story to where I can say, nope, did you guys catch that one issue that I did in complete watercolor? They're like, did you catch that one? Yeah, that one was cool.
Yeah.
So
Like that'd be really really awesome. Like just having different situations in your story, or different events I should say, would have like different like art theory behind it to
yeah,
further express like what's going on in in the story and such. Like that's
yeah.
actually really neat.
And if I can actually keep pushing for it, right? Like I would constantly do something like that. Because there was one that I was going to do like a tournament style fight that they had to get through to get to the main bad guy.
Uh-huh.
And I was toying around with the idea, but I had just purchased the new Shinobi game,
Uh-huh.
and how they were doing the like dialogue, just like most video games when they have that, right?
Right.
It pops up and then it has a little dialogue box and it says something, and then on the other side of the screen the other person pops up and says something. I
Right.
was like, man, it'd be really cool to do a comic like that, right? So you'd have the person and it's all just a side scroller, so they're running,
Right.
right? And then it's like, oh, there's that other ninja. You have them jump up and do a slash and do the kick. They do a little combo in the
Mm-hmm.
side scroller style as they're moving forward. Then you flip the page and they end up on the complete left side of the page again
Right.
because it scrolled forward. Then once they got to a certain spot and they had to talk to someone, it would go completely blank, and then it would be like, "Hey, you over there," and then on the as you went down, be on the right, and they'd have their little dialogue like that. And I was like, that would be really fun to do, um, because I don't know, it'd just be really fun to do, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, oh, I'm not doing that tournament like video game esque style in this first arc.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, okay, I wrote it down, right? I drew it in my sketchbook, and I was like, this is gonna happen too,
Mm-hmm.
but it'll be for when I need a side scroller kind of idea, and I think I have one,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I think that it would be really fun to do that arc. So all my arcs are in five issue arcs,
Uh-huh.
and so I have one where they have to do the tournament of ninjas
Uh-huh.
because they're trying to kill this. They're trying to kill this one ninja,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, "Well, we'll put them through the trial,
Uh-huh.
right? If they survive they won't survive the trial, and so each issue would be the trial, right? So you lead up to it, the arc before it, and then when we start that arc, they are literally in front of the first trial.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can literally do the side scroller fight because it's like, oh, I'm trying to get to the main boss, and it's one after the other, do your
Right.
little dialogue stuff. I think it would be really fun,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's specific to something that's happening in the story. That's why the style changed or the storytelling changed or something like that.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, because you gotta have your tournament arc.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Gotta have your tournament arc.
Oh, yeah.
But let's see.
So,
So,
you know, oops, gotta keep, I mean, honestly,
mm-hmm.
A, gotta keep trying to do something that would make it fun
Mm-hmm.
because, especially as an independent, right? And then you know this, you're working on your own comic and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And uh, you have to be able to catch people's attention.
Right.
And everybody is so used to, the big companies because they have money for like worldwide advertisements,
Right.
right? And so it's like, oh yeah, well, it's a lot easier for them to be in people's faces.
Right.
And if I want to do something, I have to do something that is going to make them go, oh wow, that's different. That company's not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now interested in this. And so just coming up with something as simple, is going, hey, they're doing this in video games. Why don't I try and do that in the comic? It's
Right.
either, and as an independent, it's either going to work or it's not.
Right.
And who's really going to be mad at you? You know what I mean? Yes, your fans might be like, you know what, that wasn't, that's not the thing. And you're like, great, it was only for this arc.
Right.
you know, Whatever. Or they're like, that was really cool. Are you going to do it again? And you go, no, I'm not. I want you to savor the fact that, you liked it here.
Right.
So I mean, I'm constantly trying to do something a little different or thinking of something a little different. Like I said, the watercolor issue, just randomly,
Mm-hmm.
this tournament arc type of thing, just trying to figure out something that would set me apart. The toned paper aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I have in my comics. That's a backdrop for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's solely because I'm like, okay, I want this to look like an old scroll. I want it to look like this information is being given to you in an old scroll. And so, or on old parchment paper or something like that.
Yeah, I've
And so,
I've
in order
I've
to,
yeah, I've seen your your backdrops for your pages looking that way. I'm still like super impressed of how it looks when you have it on your pages.
Yeah. And so it's just like, okay, here's something different. And I get that compliment often where they're like, oh man, you know what? I really like that tone paper. I really like that idea. And it's something simple that the big companies aren't going to do
Hmm.
because they don't have to, right?
Right.
They're not trying to reinvent not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but they're not trying to do anything special. They're not trying to do everything different because they know you're going to buy Spider-Man.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you throw Spider Man on the thing, and then you just watch the money.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the reason why we do the same thing as an independent is because we want that to happen too, right?
Right.
You want to be able to be like, oh yeah, no, I did this comic, I did it for me, or for whatever, and then it got picked up. Netflix picked it up, and then they actually did a really good job with the series, or you know, or whatever.
Hmm.
And now, when I go into Walmart or Target or whatever,
Hmm.
I see my book, I see my characters, I see, you know, that's honestly, isn't that why most, if not all, independent artists who have created their own IP are working?
Yeah.
Because most people aren't going, oh, I'm just doing this for me, right? And while some people might be doing it for them, if you were truly doing it for you, you wouldn't be bringing it to conventions.
Yeah. That's true. Because if you bring it to a convention, that means you want people to see it.
Yep.
So.
And then it is for someone else, right? Because
Right.
you will get a comment of, it would be really cool if,
Yep. And then.
I really like this character. Could you do this?
Right.
And you're gonna start going, you know what? I can do that because that person will buy my book. If I go, hey, you know what? Remember when you suggested that? I did it. Issue 5. You should pick it up.
Nice.
And they will. It was like, and they will. So yeah, it's like I mean, honestly, you just got to be honest with yourself.
Hmm.
A lot of people are like, no, I just do it for the love of the game. I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you.
You do it for the love of the money. Like, come on now, don't.
Yeah, it's definitely like the craft is definitely one of those things where it's like uh you definitely have to have a passion for it
Absolutely.
because if you're trying just to get into it just for the sake of making a quick buck, in the words of Wade Barrett, or rather Bad News Barrett, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Because because before you get anywhere remotely close to like the status of a Stan Lee, right?
Yeah.
Or whomever, like you have to freaking you gotta put it together. You gotta put it together
Yep.
first. You gotta
Yep.
you gotta craft something and then like you gotta show it to folks. And then if they go up to you and tell you that it looks like advanced stick figures, go kill yourself. It's like, all right, well, let's go improve, and let's not associate with those people ever again because clearly they've got
Right.
more going on than wanting to give me simple critiquing. But but yeah, like you have to love what you do. Um, because like I said, like if you don't truly have a deep love for it, like it is not hard and also very understandable for you to just, cash in your chips and go home,
Yep.
you know.
Oh yeah. Because it's a lot of work, right? Because I mean, I'll never ever forget when I first did Dark Legacy
Uh-huh.
and I converted my entire stand to just Dark Legacy. No
Right.
fan art, no nothing, just my own product. And I had been going to like Comic Con in San Diego for, I don't know, we'll say like 6 years by then, right?
Uh-huh.
Same spot every year, right? People knew knew me. They knew Hernandez, right? We were always
Mm-hmm.
in the same spot.
Right.
And I then was like, all right, I'm not going to put any fan art on my table. And my sales dropped by 2/3
Oh wow.
because A, they didn't know it. And then it was like, wait a minute, if you're not doing all this fan art stuff, what is this? Why should I support it?
Right.
You know? And it's just like, oh. And then I had to go back 2 more years before people were actively coming back to buy Dark Legacy cards. And they're just like, oh my goodness, yeah, I played this. This was great. I need this. Do you have any of the card art? Do you, this, that, and the other thing?
Mm-hmm.
But it took 3 years before that happened. And that hurts when you're making money for other things.
Right. So yeah, it's very important
Yeah.
because like you said, like freaking things start going south. Like it gets rough. But
Yep.
fortunately for you and for everybody else, you are definitely someone who is extremely passionate for Ninja Empire. You love ninjas and everything about them.
That is very true.
And yeah, and it's like and then the other thing, and I think the other thing, and also this also really helps is that, and I've learned this from watching a variety of content creators on like YouTube, Twitch, etc. And the other thing is that, like, when you were telling me about Ninja Empire and then the nominations and all that stuff, like, I can hear, like, the passion and the excitement in your voice when you're talking about it. And that's important, too. You have to be excited about what it is that you're working on, right?
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, because the thing is, it's like, if you're not excited, the person that you're pitching to is going to be able to tell.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important, because if you're already passionate about it, you don't have to set up, so you don't have to put on a mask. You don't have to pretend that this thing is a big deal, because in your mind, in your heart of hearts, it is a big deal.
It is a big deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely.
And
You're
it's like,
you're absolutely
yeah, and that's just how you gotta be. Like, you cannot stumble about what it is that you're working on. It has to be a big deal to you. And
yeah,
so,
because if you don't care, they won't care.
right, exactly.
And that is a hard lesson for a lot of
Are
people
we
to
still
learn,
following this guy?
especially when you ask them about it. They're like, "Well, it's okay. I'm still working on it. It's not the best, but," and you're like, "I don't care then. Take it." Right? Because when I was doing my proper pitching and promoting yourself lecture, um, it's it would be like, okay, tell me about it. And they're like, well, it's all right. I'm still working on it. And I was like, I don't care anymore. You've
Right,
already lost me. And they're like, but I haven't even started. I'm like, I understand, but you don't care about it. Yeah, I
right.
do. No, no, you don't.
Yeah, man. Like, cause I like, try not to talk too much about myself, because we're here for you. But one of the main things, me personally, for those of you who don't know, because as Kaiser mentioned, I'm working on a comic book as well. I haven't really gone to conventions or anything, whatever the case. But in terms of my passion for drawing, my passion for the story and everything, a lot of it, outside of, like, family and friends who keep pushing me forward to ensure that I keep doing what I'm doing, but
Mhm.
also, Kaiser, are you familiar with this animation called 12 Ounce Mouse?
Yeah.
That animation is like the bane of my actual spirit. It is the bane of my spirit, because it goes, first off, it goes back to something that you or some of your faculty have taught at Art Institute, and that is, like, if you pitch this thing to the moon, people will pick it up.
Yeah.
And 12-ounce mouse is like a, for me personally, is a primary example of that. Because, and if you guys don't know what 12-ounce mouse is, first off, one, you're lucky, and two, if you're that desperate to hate yourself, go ahead and look it up online. Like, it is like, in my opinion, painstakingly bad. I could be wrong, but it's just a simple fact where it's like, it's one of those things where, as an artist, where, or rather specifically as an artist, where you kind of struggle to see the worth of what you make. You see something like 12-ounce mouse, and you think to yourself, the stuff that I'm making is like leagues better than what they're throwing money into right now. Why is this doing better than me? Right? And that's kind of where my head went, right? So it was just like, now it might not be the best way to go about things, but it's like, just it keep, like I said, if the fire starts to turn to embers, you got to throw gasoline on it. And 12-ounce mouse is like a huge freaking 18-wheeler of freaking kerosene, and it just tipped over, fell off a bridge, and exploded. Right? So yeah, it's like, yeah, you have to be passionate about what it is that you're working on, and you have to believe that it is a big deal. And like,
Yeah,
and then after that, it's just a matter of taking action.
yeah,
And like, cause
and
go
and
ahead.
sticking with it.
Right, and sticking with it, of course. uh, because that's what my guest has done. He found something that he's passionate about. He has stuck with it, and He's been in the industry. He has done a variety of different projects with known companies and everything. And now, he took the leap of faith of doing his own IP, and it's getting legs. It has mileage. And even now, if you look in the right side of the screen, he is working on a ninja, right? That's what he does. He draws ninjas. Like like if you're out there on the internet right now, and you are a ninja connoisseur, you need to go to Follow the Kaiser, cuz he's a ninja connoisseur too.
True, absolutely true.
So, speaking of the ninjas that you tend to work on, so what can you tell us about the ninja that you're working on right now?
So on my channel, if you are following on Twitch and you get enough channel points, you can have me draw a ninja, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes people will just be like, "Hey, um, can you just draw a ninja? I don't care which one, just draw a ninja."
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, but sometimes people get a little creative,
Uh-huh.
or they actually want something and they're like, "Hey, can you draw me a cat?" This one was, "Can you draw me a cat ninja?"
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay." And I'm currently not a, like furry
Uh-huh.
artist.
Right.
And so it's like, well, okay, so how can I make this work to where that person will get what they're looking for, and I can, do what I can do, right?
Right.
And so I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to make this ninja, but then I was going to give it just, the cat. It's like
Mhm.
the cat mask for a ninja. But I'm going to give it all kinds of cat things. Like it's got the collar with the bell,
Mhm.
right? String with the ball, right? It's got the tail. It's got multiple things that you're like, oh yeah, cat. Okay, I get it.
Mhm.
And I showed them because I was like, all I have to do is draw it in blue, right? Like I
Right.
just have to do a little drawing. I don't have to do a full on drawing. It's just I will draw this character for you.
Mhm.
And so what generally happens is, because of my character design background,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh, well, okay, what can I do with this? How am I going to make this work before I'm like, oh, let's make it just a random draw? I don't do random drawings very often
Uh-huh.
in that sense, where it's just like it doesn't matter, I just draw it. And so while I was drawing, I was creating a backstory for the character and all
Uh
that
huh.
stuff.
Right.
And so since I created the character anyway with no reference, there wasn't a story or anything, this gets to be one of the characters that I get to add to my own story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so uh, as of right now, they don't have a name, right? Because it was just kind of something that I was drawing at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But as I start adding in all the colors and stuff like that, their backstory is going to develop, and then you'll probably see this character in the background somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
as a start. And like, oh, okay. And then what I'm hoping is I'm going to start throwing a lot of characters into like background situations and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna be like, all right, let's see which character take has legs.
Right.
And when people are like, oh yeah, man, that character was really cool. I saw that character in the back, and I saw that character here. And whichever ones actually start getting attention will
Mm-hmm.
actually get more attention.
Yeah, cause that's how a lot of creators go about it too. Cause I remember if you look at the if you look at the anime Yu Yu Hakusho,
Yeah.
there is a character named Hiei, and originally he was supposed to be a monster of the week character. He was only supposed to be in like one episode, and
Okay.
then he's defeated. Then you never see him again. But because of audience outcry, because they thought Hiei was just absolutely amazing, he ended
Mm.
up becoming the trio ended up becoming a quartet.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
you have Yusuke, you've got the fox dude with the red hair whose name escapes me. You've got Kuwabara, and then you have Hiei.
Huh.
So because the audience loved him, and
Right.
so and that's nothing like brand new.
No.
That's something that, like I said, a lot of creators do, but
Yeah.
like it's always fun to discover like what character in your in your roster, right, just resonates with everybody, and then it's like,
Right.
all right, so we gotta put a little we gotta give this character more to do because people want to see them,
Yep.
right? And
I already have that character.
oh,
I
dude,
never thought, yeah, and I when I was just when Ninja Empire was supposed to be a 2D fighter,
uh huh,
right? I was just doing I was trying to do a pitch bible for Ninja Empire as a 2D fighter.
uh
I was
huh,
making all these characters. And I was making a character. It was a challenge with the art director of Konami at the time,
okay,
and we were doing monthly challenges to do some type of character design, right? Like that was always our thing, was character design.
right,
And it was his turn, and he was like, I want us to draw an anthropomorphic character."
uh huh,
And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make a ninja.
of
Obviously, I always
course,
tried to make ninjas out of everything that we had a challenge for.
right.
And I made uh, a ninja rooster.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know who you're
and
talking about.
and that stupid rooster, which was literally just like a throwaway assignment, has become like they have a cult following. It's crazy.
Wow.
And they're like, I have people who are like, when are you gonna put the ninja rooster into the story? Can you please make a can you please make a t-shirt or some swag with the ninja with the rooster? And I'm like, really,
That's
really,
that's insane.
it's
That is
crazy. He's like, okay,
absolutely insane.
it's funny, but I'm just like, all these characters I have, and this is the one. And they're like, yep, that's the one. It's like, all right, well,
Would
who
you
am I to
like
tell
to
you?
reveal to the audience the name of this legendary rooster?
The rooster's name is General So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember that character. I remember when you made him and you posted him, and I saw
Yep.
it. I was like, yo, this is just absolute brilliance, man. Uh, oh my gosh,
Uh,
that's so cool. That's so cool that people just fell in love with him.
yeah.
Like,
For no reason, had no story. There was no story for that character until after everyone fell in love with the character, and I was like, crap, now I gotta figure out how I can make this work.
right, right,
Which
right.
he has a full-on story now, but he
Hmm.
didn't then.
So just without giving too much details, because I do want people to check out your comic, of course. Like, so what's the TLDR of General So as it stands right now?
He he literally went to go protect this child
Uh huh.
from being jumped by these marauders that were terrorizing the town.
Mhm.
And he just a skinny dude, right? Nothing. And he got jumped. He got beat up really
Mhm.
badly. The girl stayed with him. And what we find out later is that she is of ninja descent and
Okay.
has the ability to alter reality
Okay.
because when she hides, right,
Uh huh.
she becomes this rabbit.
Mhm.
And but she changes reality to confuse people, and then she bounces and goes away,
Mhm.
right? Well, when they came, so he healed up, and then they came back to mess with people again, and they threatened the girl, and it was like, hey, leave her alone, and she's like, oh no, there's too many of them, and then she lets this reality altering thing go away, and what it does is it releases your true power
Uh huh.
and changes you into an animal.
Oh, okay.
And so this person who was just trying to protect this little girl from, these crazy men
Mhm.
turns into this ninja rooster.
Oh, wow.
And so that's where General So comes into play because the little girl named him,
Uh
right? When they're in that state. It's like, "Oh, you're like General So."
huh.
And so they have full on like wars and fights and stuff like that. Like their story deals with being in that alter reality.
Mhm.
And it's like, hey, this is your true nature. If she ever gets hurt, the illusion goes away, right? And there is a point where she got hurt in the illusion and
Mhm.
it falls away. And then the guy is just like, oh, I can't help you. Like that was in that alternate reality. And then she explains, like, no, all of that is in you.
Mhm.
It's just here. You don't have that block, right? Your mental block is gone there. You just have to, it's just one of those ones if you believe in yourself.
Right,
And
right,
then
right.
he goes and he actually becomes a ninja, right? He has that ability.
Mhm.
And then his mask, once he's in reality and becomes a ninja,
Mhm.
he wears a rooster mask to remember the time that he was in the alternate reality.
Oh, wow. That's actually pretty awesome. That's what happens when you got a fan base.
Yeah. it's pretty it's still pretty bonkers. I was like, you what? This one? Okay. Okay. If you say so, I'll believe you.
But yeah, man, that's fantastic. Uh, so do you have a so what's the next convention that you're going to in the coming months?
So the next convention I'm going to is TCon in the DC Convention Center. It's T-shirt pop culture convention.
Mm-hmm.
It's in August 14th and 15th, I think, or that weekend of August 14th and 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania that I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so those are the next ones that are ultimately happening right away. Kind of taking the summer off a little bit. Although I do have a signing in Roanoke,
Ooh.
Virginia at the Big Lick comic book store.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
And so I have an official, it's my first like official signing where someone has actually gone, hey, we want you to be the main attraction.
Oh
right? Like I
wow.
went to Free Comic Book Day and whatnot, and I
Uh
was
huh.
there with like four other people and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But this is the first time where it's like, nah, this is you. This is for you. I'm super excited.
Oh yeah, as you should be. Like that's really amazing. Like again, like you stayed committed to this brand, and it's just been nothing but just avenues and avenues and avenues for you ever since.
Yeah.
So I'm still gonna ask you the question that I asked you before when I had you before. Um, is there any area that you feel that, pardon me, that your brand could use some improvement?
Then my brand or my brain? I didn't catch that.
Brand,
My brand?
BRAND.
N- anything that my brand, I mean, obviously marketing needs to be improved, but
Right.
um, um, honestly, as far as the brand goes, it is very specific to, a very violent group.
Okay.
And I'm actually trying to work on having, because I love the characters and the character designs that I've done,
Uh huh.
and I would love to be able to reach a younger audience.
Mhm.
And then as they grow older, they go into the actual more teenage adult ninja empire.
Mhm.
So I'm actually developing a, a separate kind of entity called Lil Ninjas.
Uh huh.
And Lil Ninjas is all of the characters from Ninja Empire shrunk down into like little, the idea of like chibi kind of characters.
Uh huh.
And they're doing adventures like, Spider-Man and Friends, where they're like, oh no, someone stole my lunchbox.
So
We got to work
basically,
together.
what is it, a superhero squad show?
Yeah, you know, so something like that, so that younger kids can still have a story about ninjas that's really cool, right? It might be we have to go find this hidden emerald or something, right? So it still would
Mhm.
be like a ninja story, but it would be definitely based for younger children,
Mhm.
and they can get used to the characters and stuff like that. And then as they get older, it was like, okay, so here's the adult version of what's happening,
Uh huh.
you know. And I think that that would be really fun. And that's where I can bring in characters like this cat character,
Mhm.
right? And it'd be like, oh yeah, that's my little cat character, and they go on adventures with this, that, and the other thing.
Right. Right. Right.
So I would love to expand the brand to be able to reach more people
Mhm.
safely, because I have lots of people. I've had to turn sales away
Right.
because people would be like, hey, I love this. My nephew loves ninjas and stuff like that. Is this safe for kids? And it's like, no, no, it's not for kids. It's not for younger children.
Right.
And they're like, oh, okay, well, thank you so much. It's one of those thank you so much for telling me. I'm like, you're
Right. Right.
welcome,
Right.
but this isn't it. And I realized that I need to have a younger audience to expand the brand.
Mhm. Yeah, because even though it's the grown-ups that have the money, it's the children that years later are gonna remember your stuff and
Yep.
reflect on it.
Yep.
Hmm. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Let's see here. And then, of course, because my guest is a journeyman artist, he can work on things and get them done a lot faster than your McAgee3, but that's perfectly fine. I have accepted the fact that I draw slow. but
It's like, what are you talking about? You got your whole characters almost all colored up. I'm still doing the part of the art that I hate the most. I hate inking, and yet here I
well,
am.
I mean, keep in mind, like on my side, even though it's the same character in two different poses, the first one I had already done and dusted like a few days ago. And then this one, I started basically same spot as you, where you had you had the blue outline, and then you just kind of work from there. But
Right.
also your character has a bit more going on, and also it's a full character, whereas mine I have a half character. So, but yes, yes, yes. Um, so what does your streaming schedule look like this week? Or I guess this
So,
coming week because it's Friday and week's
right.
basically over.
So I stream on Wednesdays and Sundays.
Okay.
Wednesday 8:30, 8:30 to 11, and then Sundays it depends. Like it's a guarantee from 8:30 to 11, but most days
Mhm.
I try and stream earlier, so I'll come in at like 5 o'clock
Mhm.
and I'll stream from 5 to 11. Um, because like extra, but on my schedule it'll still say 8:30 to 11.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
So until my kids get out of my house, um, that's kind of the timeline that I'm gonna have. Because like I said before, I will prioritize my children first.
Of course. Yeah, because they're the ones that freaking got your stuff to where it's at now, or at least
Yup.
they've played a very heavy part in it, I should say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, which does remind me, because we talked about timing, because
Yep.
I do still have to go get my kids from that concert. And
Gotcha. Okay, okay. So Kaiser, I greatly appreciate you for coming through tonight as my guest. The
of
second
course.
go around
Thank you
is
for having
great. Congratulations once again on all of the progress and uh, the acknowledgement that your IP is getting from the community at large. Right, it's a very big deal. You are an inspiration for a lot of people who are in a similar position as you are, but haven't quite hit those milestones that you've hit. Do you have any words of wisdom for all the up and coming Genin out there?
me. Just keep drawing. Oh, keep drawing one, right? You
Mm-hmm.
just you just need to keep drawing.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that you should really do is just get it out there,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you have a product, draw it up, do your comic, put it out there. Um, because you're not going to like it, and that's fine. But then you go and make it better in the second issue, and the third issue, and the fourth issue. And then while you're getting better, you've also produced five, six, seven comics,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're growing your audience because people are like, I really wanted to see that. This is really cool. So don't don't stop yourself by just going, oh well, I I don't think it's ready yet. Don't do that because you'll never finish ever.
Right. Words
So
words of wisdom from Follow the Kaiser. Um, are the social medias on screen correct? And if there's anything I'm missing, please fill in.
nope, that is absolutely correct. I am follow the Kaiser everywhere.
Everywhere and anywhere. Awesome, possum. Kaiser, thank you so much for being my guest for this evening. Uh, in regards of your man McAgee3, I stream every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA. Tuesdays is Soulsborne with the Gents. Fridays is Drawing for Turn. We do art and Magic the Gathering related content. Saturdays is Saturday Sluggers where we do fighting games. If you like what you saw, give your man a follow. Love what you saw, give your man a sub. But either way, let folks know that McAgee3 and Follow the Kaiser are out here putting quality content for each and every one of you. Social media. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and DeviantArt at McAgee3. I also have a YouTube channel called McAgee3 Productions. I do my off-stream grind, casual crashers, and McAgee3 Meetup series. Speaking of McAgee3 Meetup, if you're catching the tail end of this episode, you can find the replay of this episode on the YouTube channel. So if you want to keep track of that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell icon to get up to date on the content that comes up there. If you couldn't already tell, I too am an artist. I do emotes, sub badges, card proxies, and playmats. Currently, I'm working on my original comic book, Blue Ninja, The Story of Navaya, which you can find on the DeviantArt page, deviantart.com/McAgee3. Episodes 1 through 5 can be found for your reading pleasure on the DeviantArt page. You can also find my mini-series, Shuriken Shorts, and all my other art projects that I've worked on over the years. So check all that stuff out. It is awesome. Once again, Follow the Kaiser, thank you so very much for being here tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much for having me.
And all of you, thank you so much for coming through. You guys are the best audience a content creator could ever have. Shout outs on the way out the door. Bacon versus World. And of course, follow the Kaiser. Thank you for hanging out with me in chat. You'll appreciate for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All my lurkers, thank you for hanging out with me in chat. You'll appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Bacon's World. Bacon versus World. That's a funny name. Thank you for the follow. You're loved and appreciated for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is going to do it for tonight, you guys. I will see you all on Tuesday for another edition of Soulsborne with the Gents. If I don't see you on Tuesday, I will see you on Friday for another edition. Ooh, wait, hold on. I'm doing this out of order. I will see you tomorrow for another edition of Saturday Sluggers. If I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you on Tuesday for another edition of Soulsborne with the Gents. And if for whatever reason I don't see you on Tuesday, I'll see you next week for another edition of Drawing for Turn. So you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And in regards to going on in the world right now, I will once again leave you all with this. It is always darkest before dawn. So you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye.